Right, looks like I'm live. Good, good, good. Let's check the YouTube preview. Excuse me. Let's check the audio. Okay, looks like I'm live. Nobody's here yet. I did give like 2 minutes notice before doing this stream. But hopefully we get 1 or 2 people come to join. Let's just upload another message on the Discord saying that I'm live now. Okay, well, while it's quiet, let's just get this set up. So I've got the map set to 20 kilometers, which seems good for a chase. Defaulted to that for a reason. This map seems good. Next step. So one thing I might do is get rid of these generate cape and generate helicity buttons, and just as you drag the slider, just updates this map in real time. It wouldn't be too hard to do that. Let's set up for a pretty strong chase. Let's keep that to 3 degrees. I do want to check the multi tornado rendering. I did notice I was watching someone's stream last night. Well, it says I was watching the recording of it after it had streamed, and one of the tornadoes was invisible, and I realised there was a bug. So I fixed that bug. I've also changed the probe, because I kept forgetting, and I know other people are forgetting, to actually hit the E key to actually start the probe recording data. It's so easy to forget, and it's really frustrating when you go to the effort, get a perfect intercept, and realise you haven't actually recorded any data. So it defaults to wind. It'll then cycle through like temperature, dew point, and pressure, and then it'll just cycle through those. So you'll always be recording something. Let's just preview this chase. One thing I need to make clear is this preview isn't showing you where the tornadoes will be exactly. It's just giving a random sample of what it could be like. So the tornadoes will just spawn randomly, but it also will be in the game. So otherwise, all you could do is just print this out, and then you know exactly where to be and where to go. It'll be pretty boring. Take all the mystery and adventure out of it. So we've dropped in yet. Okay, we've got our compass. Northeast. This might help diagnose some of the control inversion issues we've been having. To see if that becomes misaligned or doesn't update with the direction we're pointing. Right, so let's just check our settings. 920 by 1080, high. Cell quality low. There's no reason for it to be low. Let's set that high. Ultra, 8K, 60 disabled. There we go. One thing I may do, again, another inconvenience is you'll notice it drops you in the middle of the tile, but the middle's rarely where the road actually is. If it dropped you, I don't know, near one of the edges or something, it would more likely to drop you on a road. Right, let's see. Let's look at reflectivity. Okay, we need to be heading north. Also, I did bump up the audio levels, but I just increased about 30% and set the build live. I didn't actually get a chance to test what it sounded like. I just knew it would be louder than it was, because it needed to be louder. So I'll be experiencing that for the first time today. See if it needs to be even more, maybe 50 or 70%, maybe even at 100. Who knows? Right, we'll take this next right. Right, I'll switch over from this to velocity, because I'll show us if it's putting something down. Nothing right now. Another thing that's a bit confusing is if you hit velocity and there's not actually anything forming, you'll just have a blank map. I need some sort of indicator to say this is velocity mode, this is reflectivity mode, because it does take a few seconds to change between the modes. If I hit reflectivity, then say hit it off, then hit velocity, it'll show reflectivity for a second, because it just needs to update and do another scan. I can see something, I can see a funnel. which... Now I guess the important question is which direction is it moving. This is going to be hard to catch up to. Need to go turn right, follow the road, and then left at the crossroads. That engine sounds a bit monotonous, isn't it? I'll just zoom in a bit so it's not as loud. Okay, and then left at the crossroads. That should get us closer to this tornado. We're still pretty far from it. Oh, we just had a cell just formed directly on top of us out of nowhere. That didn't seem quite right. It should have gone through the whole formation phase and not just pop into existence. Oh, I wonder if the same issue which was cloning tornadoes is now cloning cells. I wonder... These cells look identical, they're kind of hard to compare visually. But that may well be the issue. I may need to do a hotfix right before I push the update again. I am quite tired. I woke up at about 5:15 in the morning and my brain was just like, you're not going to get to sleep now, and it didn't let me. So I just got up early, went to work. Was able to have a couple of naps today, it just helped. But I'm really tired, so hope we don't have to do any massive fixes to get this update pushed. I think it's time to put lights on. I think we can get away with that one for now. Right, I think we can start thinking about intercept now. So we'll take a right at this T-junction. And then we'll follow the road around to the left. Luckily, this one looks like it's quite slow moving. Whoa. Going off road a bit there. Something I need to check actually, just, well, it's like this. So what we need to do is now change the tornado quality. So let's set it to medium. Just check that nothing like disappears, so nothing weird happens, and then go back to high. Neon is back again. You'll be adding a compass. I have. Look, the very top middle of the screen. It shows you the direction you're looking, not the direction that the car's facing. So yeah, just thought it literally took me like 3 minutes to add. Yeah, because I was getting turned around myself. Forgetting which way. Like, it was annoying having to drive a little bit just to see which direction you were facing. I should probably update that circle to a triangle as well that points in the direction you're going. Right, let's see if we can get ahead of this thing. Right, we're just going to go off-road. Can you add wipers? Yes, I do want to. So those two wipers that are there are kind of one mesh. So what I'll have to do is like go into Blender and split them into separate meshes. That way I can rotate them independently. Otherwise, you kind of have both wipers kind of rotating around some random point. It'll look weird, so I'll need to do some blendering. I think the wind's loud. I like the louder wind. But then, yeah, once I've done that, I can add wipers. I also need to add raindrop effects on the glass again. So the one which the effect that I purchased originally... Is this coming towards me? Sorry, one sec. Lights on. Oh. Yeah, 102. I can actually feel the truck struggling. So the one I purchased for the original game, that uses what's called the built-in render pipeline. This uses the universal render pipeline, and it's not compatible, so I'll need to buy a new raindrop on glass effect to get that working in here again. So we should be collecting, if everything's working, yeah, we're collecting data already by default. We don't have to get out the truck. Okay, I'm not going to make that. I like the louder wind effect. I think I may even need to dampen the engine sound a bit. We need to head south. So south is that direction, which I can tell because there's a compass. There's a spawn with multiple vortexes. Not yet, so on the... Sorry, one thing. I'll come back to the question in a sec. I'm about to get overrun by the tornado. I need to try and stay ahead of it. I just need to concentrate for a second. Look at that, like, I've crossed the road and it's just about to catch up. I think this is a good case for a rapid deployment. Right, let's head northeast. This is a good time to do a rapid deployment. I think once I get on the road... I just need to concentrate here. Right now, they're just shown on the map, so when you get like this weird, like, jagged thing, that's because you've got multiple vortices on there, but that's just simulated in 2D on the map. Right, let's do a quick deploy. It's not actually rendered with that. I do want to eventually have it rendered, so as the tornado forms, you'll see the vortices spinning around before they kind of get enveloped by the outer funnel. So it is definitely on the to-do list. I just need to find a good way of rendering it that looks realistic but also doesn't absolutely tank the frames per second. Yeah, so let's have a look at the probe camera. Again, F3. And you try and stay ahead of it as well. This seems like a good spot for another deployment. Let's just... Right. Let's do a rapid recall. Ah, look, controls are inverted, so I'm facing west, so it's nothing to do with... Oh, now it's fixed a bit. Right, rapid recall, or quick recall, recall. Yeah, the controls are still inverting. I cannot figure out what's causing that. Right, time for us to go. It's like it lasts for a few seconds. It's like it's buffering some old input for a little bit. Let's get the probe camera again. There we go. This could easily be a deleted scene from Twister. Add a new car. What I will do is add more mod support, so people can add their own cars, but mod support's probably going to be one of the last things I do. Just because I've got to figure out how all the other features will fit in first. Oh, we're getting F4 strength. I think it's about to go F5. What's F5 again? Is it 260 miles an hour? 260 and change. Look, that was a good deployment there. After a quick deploy, the program went back to normal. After quick deploy. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's to do with quick deploy though, because this was happening before I even implemented that feature. It's something to do, I've got a vehicle enter exit controller, which transitions you between standing around like this and being in the vehicle. And I think it's something to do with that. Or something to do with holding multiple buttons down. I think what I'm going to do is create some sort of in-game debug where if your first-person controller is normal, you hit the N key and it'll save a log, and if it's misbehaved, maybe hit the B key, and then I can compare the logs for like the rotations and different positions of like the player, the camera, and see if there's a difference between when it's working well and not working properly. It seems to happen most when I'm holding the shift key plus like the W and A key together. Okay, now yeah, quick recall. Let's do a quick deployment. Time to get out of here. Let's rotate the probe cam. There we go. I still haven't found the root cause yet. Frame rate's taking a little bit of a hit. So you got another tornado over there as well. Got Pilger 2.0 here. Big. Let's get the stream thumbnail. Bear with me 1 second. The stream will pause for just 1 second. There we go. Just taking a screenshot there so I can put it in the Steam update. Yeah, but I can't. So let's see. If I press S, look at this. I've pressed. Look, watch it. Okay, so I'm holding S. I'm moving backwards, right? Then I quickly rotate the camera 90 degrees, but I'm still moving to the right for a bit, and then it catches up, and it's like, I see. You're moving. So I think part of the problem is in Unity you have. It's still making me go in that direction. Still though. Oh look at the compass. No matter which direction I'm pointing, it's always saying west. See that? And now that it works, look, it's frozen again. The compass is frozen. For some reason, the rotation of the camera isn't updating. Look at that. So that's... Right, that's definitely related. Am I facing west? See, now that it knows what the direction I'm facing... Look, it still moves in the other direction. So you've got different updates. You've got like the update which happens when you render a frame. You've got physics update. It's like called fixed update, which runs at a constant speed, like 50 frames per second. That runs slower than your render, because that's where the physics are calculated. Then you have like a late update, and what I think's happening is when you're changing the camera position, that's updated in like your quick update, whereas when you move, that is calculated in your slow update, and those two are becoming unsynchronized. Oh yeah, the new car message. Sorry, I forgot about that. So yeah, I'm probably not going to add another car model yet. If I do, this is the yellow truck. I don't want to use brand names, but if you know which film I'm referring to, the one with lots of tornadoes in it. If I was going to add another vehicle, I'd add a red truck. So I'd have the yellow truck that you see in that film and the red truck, but unbranded. If I was going to add one, I'd need to find a good model though. There was one good model of a second gen Dodge Ram, red truck, but the licensing wouldn't allow it to be used commercially, which is a bit of a shame. So I did ask, like, is there any way I can use this for the game, but I'd have to be like thousands for a commercial license for it. But yeah, what I'd want to do is open it up to modding, so people can add their own vehicles to it. Because I'm just one person, whereas the community is really great at building stuff and modding the game. So I think there'd be more bang for the buck for having modded vehicles rather than waiting for me to come out with new ones. Right, are we in the path? Yes. Right, I think it's time for a quick deploy. Quick deploy. Can we see from the probe camera's point of view? Right, I just need to find a road or something. Maybe we should do some analysis of the data. Maybe we'll get an anomaly. Come on, that just needs to tick over to 1. Oh, 3. So what it does is if you have an F1 sample, you'll get 1 anomaly. If you have like an F5 and an anomaly that occurs on F5, you'll get 5 anomalies. Just so it's a bit more rewarding because those are more rare. So it makes sense find an anomaly in something as rare as an F5 pays more than something that's like an F1. Okay, I just need to figure out somewhere. Is it cycling? Doesn't look like. Well, I think it might have just slowed down massively. I think it's just slowed down massively. We're still getting data off it. I think it's slowed down and shrinking, so on the map you just can't see it. Yeah, it's poking out here. Let's check the environment though. Has it moved into a weak environment? I wouldn't say so. Slightly weaker, but not by much. Let's do a quick recall and get ready to do a rapid deploy, because I think we're right in the path here. Let's get to the road. Let's get to that intersection there. So that's to my east. So I'm a little bit slow with what are the cardinal directions? I forget what the proper name is for them. In America, it makes sense because, at least when I was in Nevada, like you could tell which way was north or east just by looking at the mountains, and like the road system was in a grid, so things like north, east, west actually meant something. So I was used to using them more there. But here in England, the road network is just essentially spaghetti, and it's so cluttered with houses, trees, other buildings that there's no real landmark that you can look at to say, oh, this is this direction. Should we do some temperature data just for a change? We might get a double hit. That thing is spinning like a top, look at it. Yeah, actually somebody was telling me today about a video they watched, and I keep getting it recommended, I haven't watched it yet. Somebody invented a new way to make a compass. Apparently it's like ring shaped. Look at that, controls are inverted again. Now it's updated. Yeah, it's definitely something to do with the physics update. Well, look at that thing, man, that's closing in on us. Yeah, so it'd be like a... The problem essentially with them is that you can either suspend the pointer in liquid and it would so you could see through it, but it would take a while for the pointer to find where it was going, or you could stabilize with a magnet, but then you could see through the compass, which means you couldn't like put it on a map as like a point of reference. So they just designed like a ring-shaped compass so that you could get best of both. Apparently it's like a 35-minute video on the engineering of a new type of compass, and the person who made them interesting, so... Yeah, it's the second time we're talking about compasses today. See that? It was saying I was pointing south there for a few seconds and my controls weren't working right, and it suddenly snapped to west. Look, it's frozen again. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some weirdness going on. Can you play the old one? I mean, the 2023 version of this, released originally, yeah. So if you buy the game, when you launch it, you'll have the option between... Oh, look, it's turned north. Look. One choice would be to launch the 2023 version, which is the old version, which has more features than this right now. But it's not as performant. I don't think the Tornado and graphics are as good. Or you can choose the 2025 version, which is this rebuild version. So yeah, you're not going to lose the old game just because this one's coming out. Right, let's get ahead of it again because it's re-intensified. Is it worth waiting for that one to catch? I don't know. They're diverging, they're going different directions. I think we're close to this one. We'll stay on the northernmost Tornado. Okay, that's definitely going to help me figure out what's going on with the issue. It's something. It's not updating the direction the camera's pointing very reliably. I may have to off-road. Right, we're going to off-road here. Zoom in. Look at that, spinning, spinning, spinning. Right. Grab that, throw it over there, and now it's time to run towards the tornado because the controls have inverted. Like tornado picking up dust they would be adding. So what I want to do, one of the next things which I want to work on, hopefully this week, if there's no other major bugs I need to fix, is just have an object scatterer. So all that'll do is just place random things like bales of hay, tractors, parked cars, maybe some small buildings and things like that, just randomly around the map. And then they can just get lifted up and thrown around, just visually, so something interesting's going on. Eventually I will add buildings and towns and other destructible objects which can get shredded as well. Yeah, trees and power lines. So yeah, the object scatter I can just place like a forest, and because with Unity, if you use the terrain manager to render the trees, you can't actually move them. But if you just place the tree objects in the same position, then you can have them get thrown or ripped or shredded or whatever. Power lines might be a bit more tricky because there'll be a lot of them down the side of the road, but I don't think it'll still be that expensive to render. So yeah, maybe do the same trick with power lines as well. I do have some power line assets which I bought and then never actually put them in the game. You had like the default. So this asset for rendering roads is called Easy Roads. You had the default power lines. You might have noticed they're very similar to the ones in the Storm Chasers game. We must have used the same asset for those. Right. Power flashes too. Yeah, so there's a couple of ways of doing them. So I can actually place light sources within the tornado funnel, which will just flash randomly. Then I can also actually trigger one when a power line gets knocked over. So it's turning more into a drill bit. Right, this is turning north, but I'm still behind it. Still behind it, which is a challenge. But yeah, I also just want to have generally just kind of like dust and like mist like kicked up from the ground just as you get close to the tornado. I do have some effects of that actually. It's one of the first assets I ever bought from the Unity store, was like some hurricane wind effects. It had like sound effects, dust, different particle emitters. I need to make use of that. Right, where's the road? Where's the road? Because as soon as I hit the road, right, let's do quick deploy, road camera. Let's just okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get pulled towards it. Yeah, the wind. Truck's actually really struggling. It's getting pushed quite violently. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. I need to edit just this clip and put the twister score to it. Getting some F4 round wins there. Yeah, so if you go on the Discord, I'm streaming at 20 megabits per second apparently. I thought I'd set that back to 10 when I was having issues. If you go on the Discord and go on the Trello channel and follow the link, you'll be able to see all the things I'm planning on adding. So it's kind of split into like the short-term stuff which I'm like actively working on, stuff I plan on working on in like the next month or two, and then stuff which I plan on working on at some point, but haven't decided exactly when. Let's just try. Should we set the tornado quality up to ultra? I'm not sure there's much visual difference between ultra and high. Anomalies. So every sample you analyze, every single sample gives you a 1 in 1,000 chance. So what's that? 0.1% chance per sample, which sounds rare, but if you get in a few hundred samples with each intercept, you will get more. They're meant to be a very slow, maybe like a slow burn, like a slow process to get those anomalies. Kind of like a proof of work type thing. So yeah, it's at 1 in 1,000. I may make it a bit more common if people are struggling to get them. But for now, it's saying it's 1 in 1,000. I think it feels balanced enough, because if you get them too often, the novelty of it's going to wear off. If actually find one, it needs to be something that's actually legitimately difficult to find, so you feel that sense of achievement when you get one. Right, I think we're going to intercept this one next. Not 2,000. Yeah, it's interesting the way statistics works. So even though the chances are 1 in 1,000, if you take 1,000 samples, there's still like a 30% chance that you won't see one. Like you think about 100%, because well, it's 1 in 1,000. You've taken 1,000, but because every sample is independent, what you have to actually look at is the chance of not getting one, and then so the chance of not getting one is 99.9%, and then repeating that calculation, and so raising it to the power of however many samples you do, and then do 1 minus that, works out like 30% chance of not getting one even after 1,000. I keep overshooting. Where should I deploy? Oh, I need to do a quick recall actually. Right, this is our last chance. Let's zoom in. Right, I think we need to drop the probe right about here, and then get past the tornado before we get picked up. Let's see if we can get another anomaly. Let's hit analyze again. No, still nothing. One thing I was thinking of adding to the game, I'm not sure yet, and this is kind of inspired by games like Balatro and Clover Pit, and what's the other one? Buckshot Roulette. What I was thinking of was having sort of like temporary buffs, so you can increase the average cape by like 2,000 for like 10 minutes, or your car doesn't have any limitation in speed off-road for 5 minutes, or you're a tornado magnet for 10 minutes, so you can kind of control the paths of the tornadoes. Things like that, just kind of like temporary boosts you can use. This is the out of bounds. When you just get to this repeated texture on the ground, yeah, this is just a placeholder, just so you don't drop off the edge of the map. So they'll be dying out soon. So I think we'll head back towards the middle of the map. Bottom left corner, actually. That's the easiest way to get there. We need to be heading... Well, that's west, so that's the wrong direction. Yeah, no, it is west. Yeah, no, we do want to head west. And maybe it'd have something like, maybe it could be upgradable, so you start with like 1 buff slot up to maybe 5, so you can have up to 5 active at once. So you'd have to upgrade how many buffs you can have at once, and then have to decide whether you'd pay cash for them or have to use your anomalies for that. So you've got the choice between leveling up or having a temporary buff, but it would have to definitely be worth your time. I'm trying to think. So the way it is, I guess if anybody's played Clover Pit, anomalies would kind of be like the tickets in Clover Pit, and your cash would be like the cash in Clover Pit. So in that case, you'd use the anomalies to buy your buffs and not the cash. I need to try and get to the bottom left. Yes, I think what I'll do is I don't have much time. I'll probably have to end the stream, unfortunately, in about 5 minutes. Just because I need some time to fix that issue with the cell suddenly popping into existence. Maybe have another go at fixing the control inversion bug, and then I'll need to publish the update. So I'm thinking what I may do is do another quick chase. See if we can get the last anomaly. No. So what I'll do is I'll close that. I'll just run it again. I'll do a small map and we'll just do a really quick chase to end off the stream. So the screen will come back in a second. So let's set the map to like 7 kilometers. Generate, do that like instantly. Let's just max everything out. We'll just do 1 tornado for this. Hit play. So just see how much data we can catch between now and say 5 minutes from now, and then I'll need to get the update ready. It's going up right behind us. I can't see where it is on the map though. Velocity. There we go. I think we're in perfect placement already. Let's just kind of watch it a bit. We'll deploy when it's much closer. Oh look, that's gonna wedge out already. What have we not collected yet? We haven't collected pressure data. I think we're in the path, aren't we? I think we are. Oh, so certain things that could be upgraded, for example, your off-road speed can be upgraded as well as like a permanent upgrade. But the I guess the buff would be that it just has 0 impact at all. Yeah, tornadoes do come up. Yeah, tornadoes do spawn in the same storm. So even if it ropes out, that can just be its cycling. And the way the game logic works is it looks at the environment, and if it's a strong environment, it makes the tornado more likely to strengthen. But it won't necessarily strengthen. It can go against that trend and rope out. But because it's in a strong environment, you know that it's likely to come back and intensify very quickly. So it's kind of just to keep you on your toes. So because before, if it was in a strong environment like this, it would spawn, turn into a wedge, stay at max size, go across the map, and then disappear off the edge of the map. And that's not as interesting as having a really strong environment and then knowing if this, for example, ropes out now, you can see the width of it, it could disappear and then touch down right on top of me again. So yeah, it does follow the path and do multiple cycles across the map. Oh look, this one's, look, you can see those cycloidal marks, look at that. So this is only implemented on the map right now. It's not visually, you can't actually see that. So I need to get another screenshot here. Let's take a look through the probe camera. I think it's right in the depths of the tornado. Oh, hello, Rainbow Stuff. I read through your message in more detail today. It sounds like what you're suggesting is very similar to what I had already. What I need to do is write out the logic of how this works and compare it to what you said. I think there's only a few minor differences in how certain things are calculated, but it was surprising what you were suggesting, how similar it was to what I'd actually done. But the stuff you've got is like some really nice stuff for added realism, which I want to get in the game as soon as possible. Yeah, once this gets to 100 miles an hour, we will drive. Okay, 100. Let's go. And you also mentioned in your message that you know like why the debris cloud like forms the shape it does. I would be interested in a bit more detail on that, just because the way I've read the debris cloud, it's kind of just like a semicircle with some slightly changed parameters to kind of curve the edges. Not the most realistic way of rendering it. So any pointers there on how to get better looking debris clouds, I'm all ears. Right. How's the probe doing? Oh, we're in the path again. Yeah, we're still in the path. Let's go a little bit further now. Okay, yeah, Jez, if you DM me about it. Yeah, I am kind of limited in how I simulate this. I can apply like a vortex force, like a twisting force to the volume. I can apply a vacuum in the center and sort of like turbulent forces. But it's really difficult to simulate something that's very, very close to reality. Yeah, I think I'll make this the last intercept and then I will have to go. Just fills the camera. Zoom out a bit. Centrifusion. Not explicitly. So, if I increase the spin rate, it will kind of like the radius will increase because there's more spin there. So I think there is some sort of centrifugal force kind of implicitly calculated with the fluid solver, but I don't have any real control over that. Take the strength of it. Okay, to end the stream, let's do a quick recall. And chew a Bill Paxton into this thing. Interesting, it's kind of like a filter in a way. Kind of like the density. I'd probably have to have some sort of sketch or visualization for that, but I kind of get what you mean. I guess you're going to have more friction closer to the ground. And then you have an inflow which will get blocked above that, and then those two different areas kind of filter the debris that you're picking up. Whoa, this is really launching us. You can kind of get a sense of the scale of it at this height. This is why the drone would be fun. still alive. So interestingly, you can actually add friction at the ground level. I did add a friction layer, but I don't think it has much effect on the simulation. And it's hovering, yeah, I definitely need to add some sort of torque to it. Like, give the trip a random twist when it gets lifted as well. The boundary layer. Okay. Yeah, I always hear the boundary layer, then every single time I have to look at the definition for it. Right, I think this has got a good grip of us this time. We're still in the wind field. He's going to catch us again on the way down. Pull us back in or not. Oh no. Let's step out the vehicle a second. Oh, I need a quick reset for the vehicle as well, so if you roll over, your game isn't over. Let's just step out to get a sense of scale for this thing. Looks like it's weakening. So I did actually get a book for Christmas. It's sitting here next to me. It's by Thomas Grzoulis, but it's just the Tornado Nature's Ultimate Windstorm. I couldn't get his, what's it called? Not Notable Tornadoes, what's it called? The big book, the massive one that's like $2. I wanted to get that for Christmas, but I realised like I'd have to use like a shipping service because they don't ship internationally, so I'd have to use one of those services where like you get an address to ship to in the US and they'll ship it over to the UK. And when all said and done, it was going to cost well over 200 quid for the book, and I say I can't justify that much on a book. Very epic book, but I can't justify that price. Significant Tornadoes, isn't it? Yeah, Significant Tornadoes. I think it's a 2022 edition. I was wanting to get, but then I had to set my sights a little bit lower. Got the Tornado Nature's Ultimate Windstorm, which seems quite interesting. I'll have to see if there's any useful tidbits in there. Yeah, that tornado's roping out now. Let's analyse our data, see if we can get an anomaly to end the quick chase with. No, unfortunately, but $3 in a few minutes is not bad. I wish real life worked like that. So, thank you everybody for joining and for interacting. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I will try and get those updates, like those quick bug fixes put in quickly, and then I'll push an update. Hopefully, it will be 10:30 UK time, so 10:30 UTC. So subtract 5, 7, 9, or wherever you are in the world. It'll be out next 10-15 minutes or so, hopefully. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, recommend the channel to your friends if you think they'd be interested. Help grow the channel. But yeah, signing out now. Have a good morning, evening, or afternoon wherever you are.